Abducted 11 times. The Zanfretta UFO Incident. Sightings of aliens come in many shapes and sizes. Most commonly, these take the form of witnesses who see something in the sky that they do not recognize, and such encounters often have rational, well-understood explanations. These UFOs usually turn out to be of terrestrial origin, whether balloons or other unfamiliar airborne objects. Similarly, they often can be explained through our understanding of meteorology as naturally occurring phenomena, or in the case of recorded footage turn out to be lens aberrations or other in-camera artifacts, if not outright hoaxes. However, not all encounters are at such a distance, and in the cases where witnesses see something up close, almost all of the above explanations fall away. Stranger still are those close encounters of the third kind, where aliens themselves are met face to face. In such cases, the only explanation usually offered is that the witness is mistaken or lying. And in the case of multiple witnesses, where a conspiracy of fabrication is required, such explanations barely hold water at all. So it was with the Zanfretta UFO incident, perhaps Italy's strangest brush with the extraterrestrial. The initial encounter, on the moonless and frigid night of December 6, 1978, a night watchman, Pier Zanfretta, was on patrol in Torrigilla village. It was something he had done many times before, but that night he had a horrifying encounter with some strange-looking creatures that would forever change his life. As per Zanfretta's account, at around 11:30 p.m., he was checking the garden of the Casa Nostra villa in the village. When he entered the backyard of the villa, he saw an oval-shaped red object which he estimated to be around 10 meters, 33 feet, in diameter. He had been first alerted by lights coming from the garden, and thought that the strange beams could be coming from the flashlights of would-be thieves. But worse was to come. As he turned to flee, he came face to face with something. The aerial UFO incident, when aliens visited a school in Zimbabwe, temple, spire, or alien landing pad. The mystery of Somapura Mahavihara. His supervisors recall him radioing them, but all they could hear was him screaming. Fearing something dreadful had happened to him, they kept asking if he was being attacked by some men. But all they heard in response was, "Non sono uomini," they are not men. Rushing to the scene, they found Zanfretta motionless on the ground in a dead faint. Whatever he had seen, it was gone. But when the unconscious man was roused, he had an incredible story to tell. When asked, he said that he saw several figures that he described as a huge green, frightful and ugly creatures with mottled skin. The creature was around 3 meters, 9.8 feet, tall, and it had clawed feet and yellow triangular-shaped eyes. But what happened next was a blur. Despite the icy conditions, patrols scoured the area, but no sign was found of these creatures or their craft. Only one piece of physical evidence remained apparent to the searchers. When Zanfretta had been found unconscious, his clothes in the cold night were warm, as if he had been inside something. What happened next? Later, the Carabinieri, the Italian police, carried out an investigation, and they found 2 unusual marks that were 2.7 meters, 9 feet, in diameter. On December 23, 1978, with the encouragement of Di Stefano, Zanfretta agreed to a hypnosis test. The session was carried out by Dr. Mauro Moretti, a professional psychotherapist. Well, when under the influence of hypnosis, Zanfretta began to remember more. The creatures had taken Zanfretta into their craft, which had a brightly lit interior. There he had been able to see them more clearly, describing mouths like iron and thorny protrusions on their skin, which was so wrinkled that they appeared to be extremely old. He said they came from another galaxy or planet called Teutonia. He also added that those creatures wanted to establish communication, and they will return soon in large numbers. Searching further afield, the Carabinieri quickly discovered that Zanfretta was not the only person to have seen something strange that night. In total, they found 52 witnesses, all of whom claimed that they also had seen UFOs. One perhaps saw the UFO approach the Casa Nostra garden, saying that he saw it hovering around 7:30 p.m. on that evening, around 1,500 meters, 4,900 feet, off the ground. It happened again. For Zanfretta, the tragic and horrifying abductions did not stop there. Just 3 days after the first hypnosis session, on December 26th, he claimed to have been kidnapped again. He led investigators to where he had been abducted, where the police discovered large footprints on the ground, some 50 centimeters, 20 inches, long. The story of Utsurobyun, a 19th-century Japanese UFO? In pics, 6 depictions of UFOs in old art. This was not the last time either. On July 30th, 1979, Zanfretta, while patrolling on his motorcycle, vanished again. His fellow guards found him after a long 2-hour search near Mount Fass, where he had gone missing. This time, a hypnotic test was carried out at Milan's International Center of Medical and Psychological Hypnosis. He was injected with truth serum, and while under its influence claimed that a mysterious green light lifted him to an alien spaceship. Over the following years, Zanfretta would claim to have been abducted 11 times. While no corroborating witnesses were able to confirm any of these events apart from the first, it seemed that either Zanfretta had developed a fixation on abduction, or he was the particular target of whatever was going on. A grounded explanation. Already I'm sure some readers will be crying foul over the approach taken. Unlocking latent memories through hypnosis and using truth serum is firmly in the realm of pseudoscience, and in fact such approaches have been long associated with fabrication. Both approaches have not been proven to uncover repressed memories. What they have been scientifically proven to do is render the subject highly prone to suggestion, and when such approaches are combined with leading questions, as is often the case when those applying them are looking for information, this will result in the questioners hearing exactly what they hope to hear. Zanfretta was also something of a media sensation, and may well have been pleased with the attention he received. Given this, the most straightforward way to prolong his time in the limelight would have been to bring something new to the table, hence the later abductions. But none of this explains what happened that first evening, and what caused a security guard to scream for help, saying that he had encountered something inhuman. Either Zanfretta spontaneously decided to make up a story that night, or he really saw something in the garden of Casa Nostra. By Bipin Dimri.